Well, hi, welcome to Mark Bajerski YouTube channel. It's a great day to talk about Moldavite. Okay, so first of all, I'd like to answer a few of your questions that were given to me yesterday. And yeah, let's get into a real deep dive into Moldavite, answering some of the myths out there, some of the fears and the worries about Moldavite. So, before I start, I'll introduce myself. My name's Mark Bajerski. Yeah, that's a mouthful. Changing it to Smith next week, so don't worry. Oh, is he talking about the Matrix? Is he a Mr. Smith? Oh my God, come on. So, I've been working with crystals for 2 decades now on my clients. I've worked over 10,000 clients in the time that I've been a healer. And within that period of time, I've experienced things that really can't be explained. So profound experiences that changed my life and my client's life. Moldavite was one of those crystals that did that. So that's who I am. I've worn Moldavite, without exaggeration, every day for maybe 10 years, something like that. On and off the other years, the other 15, 16, 17 years, on and off through the week. If I'm working on a certain crystal that is new to me, I'll leave Moldavite aside and work on that for a few weeks, sometimes a month or two, depending on how I want to feel that crystal. So, but ultimately, Moldavite's normally always on me. So I'm still here. I'm 50 odd years old. I don't know exactly, I couldn't tell you. But what I can say is that I have never been as healthy in my life. Okay, so I've always got Moldavite on and I've never been as healthy, both mind, body and spirit. Okay, just keep taking your tablets. Okay, so come on, Matt, let's be serious. Let's get into it. First question. And all great questions, and I'm sure these questions will do you the world of good to know. Let's say someone develops a health issue that the Moldavite brings out. Great question. Do you continue to wear it until the issue is resolved, or keep it nearby, like on your bedside cabinet? It's an absolutely great question. All I can say to you is through my experience of wearing Moldavite. The one profound thing I noticed with Moldavite is every time I took it off when I was experiencing something, let's say challenging, afterwards that challenge would come back again. And I found myself going through the same feeling of emotions of, okay, I have to start again now. So I overcome that by saying, what is this? Why am I experiencing either the physical or the emotional or the spiritual? Why is this? And I kept coming to the same conclusion. The Moldavite wasn't actually creating this experience, but it was highlighting the experience. And I'm going to give you, when you watch at the end of this, this should make all sense to you, okay? So I would then say, after maybe 8 or 9 months of umming and ahhing, wearing it, not wearing it, oh, I can't cope with it anymore, oh, it's amazing, to a point where, okay, I got this teardrop Moldavite, and I got it from, I just finished a beautiful seminar and 7 days work in a psychologist's office. And I was really happy, really pleased with my work, and everybody was pleased. And I walked out of that door being paid. I got paid, and then walked down to the Las Ramblas. And as I walked in between these beautiful shops, I got drawn into this shop. It was just a kind of a tat shop, you know, selling silly trinkets for Barcelona. And I'm thinking, what am I doing in this shop? And then all of a sudden I got this overwhelming feeling that there was a Moldavite in the shop. And like my head saying, ah, come on, there's not a crystal shop. Anyway, for some strange reason, the guy sat down at the desk. I said, ¿Tiene Moldavita? Do you have any Moldavite? And he like was stunned. And he bent down and he opened a safe and he brought this sheet out, this like sheet, and he opened it up and there was a piece of Moldavite. And I can't really explain to you the feeling I got, but I said, would it be possible if I could, hold it? And he let me hold it and he understood my feeling. And I said, is there any chance of me buying it? And he said, it's already yours. So he told me how much he wanted. It basically took up nearly all my money that I'd made over the 7 days. But money had no object in this. I just needed to have it. I got onto the train at that moment, and the train was taking me to not a very nice place. I wouldn't have normally gone, but it was a sanctuary where dolphins were kept. And one of the dolphin keepers snuck me in to try and help heal the dolphins that were sick. Because there was a leakage in the water of certain gases and it had gone inside them and they were ill. And I said, I don't normally heal animals in that way, and dolphins, me healing dolphins, seriously. But I said, okay, I'll do my best. On that travel to get there on the train, which took an hour or two, I basically cried all the way. I actually was in tears and I didn't know why. The tears were pouring down my eyes. And I was holding this Moldavite, and I think what I'm trying to say is I came to a point where I realized that I'm not going to as much question what's going on, but accept that there's something going on. And part of my understanding of a healer back then was when we cry, that's the heart opening. So it's a great sign, because when your heart opens, it's everything. When your heart is closed, that's when the problems start. And that's why we don't allow love into our life. We don't allow, self-worth into our life. So I realized there was something profound happening. Did I understand what happened at the end of it? I didn't. But what I did understand at that period of time, that I needed to accept that something was happening and my tears were coming down, and I realized it was some form of healing. And I went with it. So I think what I'm trying to say is the question, going back to the question, do I continue to wear it? For me, if it causes you great stress, and say for instance that you go to bed on a night and you're wearing it and you just simply can't sleep through the night, then it doesn't really make much sense wearing it through the night. But if you've had a good night's sleep and you put it back on again and you continue to through that day, and you feel maybe a bit exhausted, but you can still get through the day, then I would suggest continue wearing it. But there is a fundamental principle to Moldavite that needs to be expressed, and I've tried to express this over the 2 decades with Moldavite. There's 2 things happening at any one time with Moldavite. The first thing is it's blasting an energy to help heal you, and secondly, it's blasting an energy to help you heal yourself. So when people say to me, is Moldavite the most powerful crystal in the world? It is, but you have to work with it. And it's kind of like a teamwork. So you have to raise your awareness, your vibration, and ask yourself, what do I need to do when an issue is surfaced? So let's say you feel fatigue when you wear it. Well, what would you do if you weren't wearing it and you felt fatigue? You would heal. You would take some time out, you'd rest, and you'd look at your diet, you'd look at your health in the sense of exercise, well-being, you'd look at your environment, people around you, are they causing you grief? And you change that to get yourself back on form. What bothers me most of all, and what worries me most of all, is people seem to have this idea that Moldavite fixes everything and you don't need to do anything. And that's just simply not true. And in my world, that's lazy. So Moldavite is there as a partner. I write this in my book, In the Power of Moldavite. When it comes out, you'll be able to read it all. But it is a beautiful combination of a marriage between you and it. And it is there to highlight, to help, to release, to strengthen, to help you connect. But ultimately, you are that missing piece. So Moldavite is there to give you the information so that you can then follow through with your divine energy that you are. Okay, I hope that answers the question. Moldavite shouldn't be the answer. You should be the answer when you're working with Moldavite. So Moldavite gives you the opportunity to find the answer. Okay, next question. Depression for 2 years. So basically somebody has had depression for 2 years wearing it. I think it goes back to the same point really. So somebody's saying that when they wear it, they have this depression energy. Moldavite again is highlighting something that needs to be healed within. They also say that they have another piece of Moldavite that they wear on their finger and it makes them feel amazing. Interesting, because there are times when I wore Moldavite in different parts of my body and I had different reactions. The only conclusion I came up with that is that Moldavite in the specific area is highlighting your energy and making you feel amazing, and in the other part, when you wear it, there is an issue and it's also making you aware. The problem we have is that we distinguish between two different energies, which are positive and negative, whereas in actual fact they're both important. And yet when we look at a negative feeling, we believe that there's something wrong with us, that there's something wrong with the crystal, and yet when we wear a piece of Moldavite on our finger and we feel uplifted, we feel that the Moldavite is working correctly, when actual fact that the Moldavite is working equally as hard to try and help you. And it goes back to the original point I've just made. When you're feeling bad when you're wearing it in a certain place, then there could be a possibility that that certain area needs to be healed. Therefore you need to take the Moldavite off or keep it on and then start to self-heal on yourself. So if a client's lying down and she feels bad because she's got a piece of Moldavite on her, I don't take the Moldavite off. I continue the healing work until it's gone. So maybe what you need to do is a little bit more self-healing work and keep continuing to work on that particular place. Now, Rome wasn't built in a day, and you can't teach Einstein to a child in an hour. So therefore, it's about working at certain things. So I the argument would be this, okay? If Moldavite is making you feel happy while you're wearing a ring on your finger, then the point being by all of that is that why is it that it's making you feel good and making you feel bad? If it's Moldavite, Moldavite is equal. It comes from the same stone, it comes from the same planet, it comes from the same asteroid. So it's no different. The frequency, the vibration is still the same no matter where you get it from. In the sense of that it's real and not and fake. So if it's making you feel happy, then there's something in that. If it's making you feel depressed, there's something in that as well. So it's doing a job, it's doing its work. Only we look at it in a critical thinking manner because of what we believe depression is. I don't believe in depression. I believe it's an energy, a frequency that is within the body that is stuck, that we need to clear and heal. Why is it that I've had people who have come to me over the years who have said that they've suffered with depression for 20 years, 30 years, and then they've had a healing session and I've used Moldavite, and then they've got up and they said, I've never felt like this before. I've got inner peace. That was very standard, very normal in my daily practice. And sometimes that energy would last with them for an hour, a week, a month, and years. But ultimately what that means is that each client has the capacity and the ability and the gift to hold on to that energy, or they can bring out that energy of depression again because of their environment, what they eat, what they think, and who they're with. So one of the things that we teach in the Pure Energy Healing Academy is that when your clients had their healing session, they've got up and they say, I've never felt like this before. What I used to say to my clients is, what you have now is a seed of light inside you. It's just a little seed. And that seed now needs to be nurtured. Nurtured in a way that you have to take notice of it. So the feeling that you have is the little seed. And this is a new seed and a new feeling. Okay? So what you're going to do now is be aware of the seed, and you're going to take care of it, and you're going to notice at any moment when that seed is threatened or feels like it's going to disappear and that light's going to distinguish, just going to go out. What do you mean, Mark? Well, if at any moment you feel angry or you feel sad or you feel that peace disappear, stop and look at the environment, look at who you're with, look at what your thoughts are, and look at what you were looking at or hearing. And that is the key, the guidance to tell you that whatever happened then is that what stops your flame from growing and your healing process. It's just simple. It's simplicity. That's all it is. It's simplicity. And we're just talking simple here. This isn't rocket science. This is just simple things. And crystals help us evolve in that way. And Moldavite seems to be the most powerful crystal at this time for that particular healing process. Okay. I clear my Moldavite every day. I can't feel anything like I used to do with it. So somebody's saying that they used to have a piece of Moldavite, or they have a piece of Moldavite and they wore it and they were getting amazing hits, amazing feelings and thoughts and amazing, connections, and then all of a sudden it's not working anymore, and they're cleaning it, cleansing it, and what am I doing wrong? It's a very frequently asked question, and here's the answer. Moldavite isn't here to take care of your life. It's here to help you connect. Therefore, when a Moldavite is in your hand and it recognizes that something needs to be healed or something needs to be fixed, what it does is it immediately goes to that place, and thus a lot of people get hot, a lot of people feel things. I elevated off the floor, but I didn't. But I felt like my body was being elevated off the floor when I was holding it. Something was happening on a spiritual level that was connecting me even more. Everybody has a different experience with Moldavite and Moldavites. To sum that up, I would say this. Could the Moldavite have actually done its work? And then from then on, you have to do the work. So always relying on your Moldavite isn't the answer. So the reason, and you're going to say to me, you're a hypocrite because you wear Moldavite all the time. That's true. But I don't feel the same as I used to do when I first wore it. And why do I wear Moldavite all the time? There are many times that through the day I work with crystals like I used to work with clients. Crystals are just the same to me. They're a living entity. And I used to work with clients. As I work with clients, I would take my Moldavite off and use it on them so that they would experience what they needed to, and I could see and feel what needed to be done on their body to help connect them and help heal them. Okay? So that's why I wore it every day. I wear it every day because when I work with a crystal, I want to connect with that crystal. And when you bring another crystal up to Moldavite and pair it together, there is some kind of frequency that happens. And I want to still be able to connect to crystals, to be able to download or put memory into crystals. And Moldavite seems to be the crystal that helps me do that. There are 3 particular crystals that I love working with at once, at any time. And when I do work with my crystals, there are 3, the trinity of crystals, which are Moldavite, Tektite, and Herkimer Diamond. That is my personal choice when I want to charge, you could call it charging, energize, cleansing, or I call it adding memory, strength and memory into crystals. That's why they're called pure energy healing crystals, because each crystal that I sell, each crystal that I gift has a memory of what I've channeled via the gift of Moldavite, the gift of sight of the Herkimer diamond, and strengthening the whole other two crystals, and cleansing me at the same time when I need to clear certain energies from me, which are being cleared from around me and within me, thoughts, feelings, and that's the tektite. So that's a great combination for me. But you know, I used to wear Moldavite with lots of different crystals. You know, somebody mentioned this morning pink kunzite. It's a great combination, and you feel a great feeling of you know, I mean, meditating with those two crystals are incredible. But so are other crystals like Moldavite, and I mean, just now I'm really getting into the energy of Moldavite and Libyan desert quartz, glass. It's becoming absolutely profound right now. So I'm experiencing more through the months of wearing this and working with crystals at the same time. So these things are vital to our understanding, and if you are set in stone, so to speak, pardon the pun, then you're never going to really open up to new experience, because this is what it does and that's it. This is dangerous. This isn't working anymore. Well, it's not about it's not working anymore. Maybe it did what it needed to do, and now it's time for you to grow, for you to move forward. And you know, there's been many a times, guys, and again, all of this is in my book, The Power of Moldavite, coming out hopefully this year, please God. Look, when you are at a state of balance in your life on Monday, and you get to Friday, the state of balance fluctuates and changes depending on your environment and what you're eating and what you're doing. So you come to Friday and now that you're out of balance, forget that 1 week, but let's just say 3 months, let's say 2 years. You can go to a Moldavite one day and not feel anything, and go to a Moldavite 6 months later or 2 years later and then just be blown away. Why is that? Because you are changing, your frequency's changing, your body's changing, everything is change. Everything, every moment is change, and sometimes it will help you at a certain point of your journey, and then sometimes you just leave it be and you'll feel the pull whenever you need it. There are times that, you know, we kind of overdo it and we want it so much, and then all of a sudden the Moldavite does something very spectacular, and other crystals do this, but Moldavite more so, and it vibrates out of sight. And people often ask me why it vibrates out of sight and why it disappears, and that, again, that's in my book, but just to kind of give you an idea, vibrating out of line means that it may be coming to a point where it recognizes that it doesn't need to be on you, and that you don't need it at that moment, and maybe you need to, you know, work on yourself and realize that you are the most powerful crystal in the world, which you are. Moldavite's amazing, but you are 1,000,000 times more powerful than Moldavite. Every single drop of water that enters your body has one unique and amazing crystal. So your thoughts become a powerful crystal, and you can create whatever you want. You know, everything about you is the answer, but you are looking outside all the time for something to be the answer, to be the amulet, to be the spiritual tool. Yes, nothing wrong with that, but ultimately you've got to always think, and you always got to realize that they're only there to help you then open up to what you need to do, what you need to heal, and how you need to connect. And thus you become the connection, you become the powerful. Thanks very much for your help, Mr. Moldavite. You've done a great job. Now let me get on with it. And that's what Moldavite does. And sometimes it might vibrate out of your eyesight. It might disappear and go elsewhere. It might rejoin a certain Moldavite in Mother Earth that nobody knows about, and its frequency may connect in some way. It may vibrate and then connect to that huge Moldavite that nobody knows about, nobody's seen, nobody, you know, this is my understanding. So do I believe there's a mother stone? I do believe there's a mother stone, absolutely. And nobody's ever seen it, and I don't think it will ever be found. And I went around the Czech Republic, and I was doing this intuition work for my book, and I do believe wholeheartedly that when Moldavite landed, boom, there was 2 segments of Moldavite, and the Moldavite splash created Moldavite in different parts of the area. And one of the things that I wanted to do was find Moldavite somewhere else where nobody's ever found it. And that was an interesting thing. That's going to go in my book, and I'm going to explain. And I do believe, and I do feel like I know where the mother stone is. It was a very interesting trip. I went to both craters in Germany, which was fascinating. You probably know this, right? When this beautiful planet came down, it splintered and went into 2 different places. I went to both craters. One was basically a town, and another one was a beautiful valley, which was the crater of the Moldavite. But going back to Moldavite, I think if I'm going to leave you on one note, I would say this. I think the worst, the worst thing you can do is hold on to expectation of a Moldavite because of what people say. I would have a completely open mind. I wouldn't ask for anything. Part of pure energy healing and working with crystals as a pure energy healer who works with crystals or a crystal healer, one of the things that I recognized is the amount of people who were frustrated because they had this kind of, it was a 2-way thing. It was one where they would be very frustrated because of what they wanted to create and it wasn't happening. And I find that fascinating because I believe that if you vibrate at a frequency of acceptance, love, and flow, then everything that you need and everything that you maybe not need, but everything that is meant to be in your life will happen in the moment it's meant to happen. So I accept my day, whether it's busy or quiet. I accept my day as a miracle. I'm not expecting a miracle, but when a miracle comes, it's like, wow, that's amazing. And it's just part of my normal life. And I love that, but I don't force a miracle. I don't create a miracle. And that's the difference. And that's how I see it with Moldavite. Don't try and create something. Just let it be. And if it's meant to be, it will be. A lot of the times miracles happen, but people are in a really bad place. People are angry, they're fearful, they have no time for the whispers and the little things that just happen, which are the miracles. And thus, they never really feel anything unless it's a thunderbolt and lightning strike, which is very rare. So miracles are with you every single moment of the day. You just don't recognize them. Or maybe you do. And to see and feel those things, you have to be balanced. You have to be strong, mind, body, and spirit. Strong doesn't mean hard. Strong means gentle. Strength comes when you are an empath. You are sensitive. That is power. That is ultimate power, because then you feel things that other people don't feel because they're too busy chasing their tail like a dog. Or they have to pay their mortgage because they're panicking. They don't have time for what we have time for. So it's vital that we understand that working with Moldavite and getting the most out of your Moldavite, 1, don't expect anything. 2, be its partner and say thank you and work with it. 3, just flow, and when it's meant to be, it will be. And that's it. That's my 30-minute message today. On a final note, just to remind people, at the end of the month, this most rare Moldavite called Besenice because of where it's from. It's a hedgehog Besenice, and it's one of my museum pieces. So this should be actually in a museum. Looked under the microscope, there isn't a chip on this. So basically this piece of Moldavite has been made by Mother Earth and that beautiful planet that landed on this earth many, many moons ago. This piece, it should be in a museum, but it could be yours, because I decided yesterday that whoever goes to Bajerski.com and buys a Moldavite or buys any pendant that you feel drawn to, that will turn into a ticket on my computer, and I'll put it in a jar, and at the end of the month this will be coming into somebody's pocket, hand, third eye and home for the rest of their life. It is a dream come true, direct from Besenice, where I went myself to pick this up. And if you want to see a beautiful collection of genuine Moldavites, which should be in a museum, then just head over to Bajerski.com and have yourself a great old time looking at my Moldavite collection, which are all 100% beautiful, charged, genuine, worked upon, pure energy healing Moldavites. Have a beautiful day. I'll put the link below. Thank you so much.